Big Monday presented by Bud Light begins at the Peterson Event Center on the campus of the University of Pittsburgh, where tonight the homestanding Panthers put their perfect 16-0 record on the line against the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. The Irish have won 6 in a row. They're 2-0 in conference play, as are the Panthers in the Big East. And Notre Dame led into battle by Chris Thomas.
Chris Thomas, a player that can break down defenses off the dribble. He can make hard shots, but when he plays with patience, he's at his best.
And Jay, both ends. The guards are so important. Carl Krauser used that high screen, top of the key, turn the corner, create, dish it to the three-point line, or finish himself. Solid, fills up the stat sheet.
Sean McDonough with Bill Raftery and Jay Billis. Delighted to have you with us. Jim Burr ready to throw the ball in the air. And the tip controlled by Pittsburgh in the home white. Chris Taft won the tip.
And Sean McDonough and Jay Billis. The Irish go. Wait a minute.
Siobhan Troutman, Julius Page, and now Taft, the freshman. Teron Brown and Carl Krauser, the other starters. This is Krauser guarded by Chris Thomas. Taft. A little bit long. Troutman on the offensive glass for the tip-in.
I'll tell you what, they have good passers inside. They have a soft touch. Therefore, Troutman's ability to finish.
And Taft loves to go over that left shoulder. They're going to have to sit on that.
Here's Thomas against a very good defensive Pittsburgh team. The last couple of years, as they've been one of the best teams in the nation, they've been doing it largely with the defense. And here's Krauser on the push.
Nothing there.
And the block by Torian Jones. Taft had it, but lost it on the way up. Got it back and scored.
It's amazing. Nothing there. Should have been punished for a bad decision, but the rest of the white shirts got involved.
Bailed out also by Taft running the floor. Just a freshman. He's got a lot of upside. He's going to be a great player.
Here's Torian Jones. Back-to-back double-doubles for Notre Dame. Now Chris Quinn with Tom Timmermans and Turin Francis, the other starters, and a foul called by John Clougherty against Carl Krauser. The first foul in the game. Nation's longest home winning streak on the line. They've won 35 in a row. They've never lost in this still beautiful new building. 29-0 here at the Peterson Center. Chris Thomas had a pinball back to him after Chris Quinn missed. Timmerman.
He can shoot, Sean. Really stretches the knee. You know, the staff is really hugging him. Nevertheless, able to knock it down.
Having him back is important for Notre Dame. He is a good screener, a capable rebounder, and as you mentioned, he can hit that shot.
Timmerman's missed 5 games with a back injury. Mike Bray, when talking about the 6-game winning streak, says we're finally healthy. That's the biggest reason why. Julius Page a miss, and Thomas the rebound. 4-2 Pittsburgh. Taft deflected the pass.
A nice play because Quinn was set up for the delivery.
Krauser has Quinn on it. Krauser missed 4 games with a groin injury, came back Saturday and led them to a double overtime win down at Miami. They came very close to losing their 16-game winning streak. Would have ended at 15 in a row. Troutman the miss and the rebound by Quinn.
We'll stick that once in a while, about 25%.
Thomas. Tough shot. Ripped off the rim by Taft, a 6'10 freshman from Coney Island, New York. Krauser, a tough runner.
How about that control, though? They were set up for the charge. Great body control, the open floor.
He just has no fear. Carl Krauser attacks off the dribble in transition and also in the half court.
Well, he boxed as a youngster, Jay. I don't think that's in your repertoire. 2-0 as an amateur.
I'd knock him out.
No headgear.
Got to like his decision-making, though. Quit while he was undefeated. Went out at 2-0 as an amateur boxer.
A lot of guys learn to count to 10 in that sport.
Siobhan Troutman called for the foul as Francis took it to the bucket.
See Krauser taking it all the way, absorbing a bump, little push off, and somebody's got to step in front there. Not in time. Tom Timmerman's coming over, and good body control there by Krauser to avoid the charge.
There's Francis, averaging nearly a double-double per game. Part of the starting lineup with Thomas and Quinn, Timmermans, Jones, and Turin Francis, the sophomore from Boston.
Chris Quinn had been coming off the bench, averaging about 16 points over his last 6 games.
solid play with those doubles as well. Interesting, huh? His ability to shoot the jump shot, they're really tagging him deep.
Little box set trying to isolate Jerron Brown on the low post. They stagger.
They do a lot of great misdirection. Go one way, come back the other.
Francis blocked the attempt by Troutman. Brown for 3. And the rebound down to Chris Thomas.
That's the shot Notre Dame wants to see Pittsburgh take all night.
Too deep.
Thomas open for 3.
Boy, that's getting located, though. Nice move to the open spot, Jay, and a kick out from the post.
And a good decision by Turin Francis. He has not been as good at kicking the ball out to open people. A terrific decision by the big man.
Thomas coming off an excellent game Saturday at Villanova. He had 26 in their road win over the Wildcats.
So this team does a great job. They'll run, nice duck in there by Brown on the screen. They'll run the floor, but if they don't have a break, Sean, they're patient as heck, and they get good looks as they did that trip.
Well, they just grind you out in the half court. They've got good passing big guys, so when the ball goes inside, they can face up and pick you apart if you don't put good pressure on the ball.
Jerron Brown, really one of the most underrated players, not only in the Big East, but in the country. Makes the first free throw.
The great wingspan at 6'8". He has been around a while, Sean. Nice to have experienced guys.
Senior, 24 years old, from Lexington, Kentucky, part of that starting lineup with Page, Krauser, Taft, and Troutman. And Coach Jamie Dixon, in his first year as the head man here, he took over for Ben Howland, who left to go to UCLA. Jamie had been an assistant all 4 of Ben Howland's years as head coach here.
Nice pass.
Quinn had it blocked out of bounds by Troutman. And the formula remains the same for Pitt, even with the coaching change. Dixon learned his lessons well under Howland.
ESPN Full Court. You'll get the most out of the second half of the college basketball season. Order now.
So just when I'm thinking, isn't there a car out there I could get excited about? Wham! There's this car with all this stuff. Then as I'm thinking, now here's a car I could see myself in. Wham! There's this other car with all this stuff. 2 cars, the same, yet different. Kind of like those twins I met in Chicago.
The all-new Mazda 3 and Mazda 3 5-door. Rethink what's possible.
And cash or credit. Hey, Bank One.
I'm just really into whales.
I love fish sticks.
Find the card that fits you best.
Oh, she's so cute. That's you right there.
Bank One. Individual answers.
If your 4-hour cough medicine wears off, things can get ugly. Next time, get all-night NyQuil Cough, the sleep-through-the-night cough medicine from the makers of NyQuil.
Mount Everest Base Camp, 17,000 feet. Whose idea was this? Fortunately, with a laptop powered by Centrino, Intel's mobile technology, you can see a friendly face wirelessly from thousands of places, even if you can't feel your fingers. Intel Centrino, mobile technology.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of NCAA basketball, presented by Bud Light. For the great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light. And in part by Mazda. There's a soul of a sports car in everything we make.
And welcome back to Pittsburgh, where the Panthers lead the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame 7-5. Sean McDonough with Jay Billis and Bill Raftery. I think the folks did a very smart thing here at Pittsburgh in keeping the status quo, promoting Jamie Dixon. They had a good thing going here. Why mess with success? There might have been the temptation to hire a big-name coach into this very good job.
And it's not always the best thing to promote from within, but in this case, I think they got the right guy. Jamie Dixon knows the program, he knows the kids, and he's had a very smooth transition.
And it's all about great respect for Ben Howland, though. A lot of coaches don't have that kind of influence. He's done an outstanding job, changed a few things, tweaked, and the defense has been the reason they've been tough for the last few years.
And remains that way. Good stick-to-itiveness by Jones as his first shot was blocked. Jones had played 100 games at Notre Dame without a double-double, and he's coming off back-to-back double-doubles now against West Virginia and Villanova.
Mike Brey trying to get Torian Jones to play more like he has been over his entire career. Don't be a jump shooter, be a slasher.
I thought that he was getting like Miller and Carroll. He gave him a little leeway to do that. Now he's got him just playing a little reckless abandon.
I love this matchup between Page and Thomas. Page, one of the best defenders in the country, so strong.
And here's where he's had some problems on the double to find somebody.
Francis stuffed by both Taft and Troutman. Krauser didn't have the numbers, so pulled it up.
Good job by Thomas to stop the ball. He is so good defensively. Doesn't get the credit for it, Chris Thomas.
Great spacing and Taft. So wise for a young guy. And Carl Krauser able to knock it down deep.
Not only did he have the 19 Saturday at Miami after missing 4 games with a groin injury, he had the length of the court layup to tie the game at the end of regulation. Went the length of the court in the final 4 seconds to force overtime.
And John Timmerman should be able to make post passes because they got to get up on him to protect that jump shot.
A block by Taft, and Francis follows it up.
That's where Taft, when he goes for a block, the offensive rebound opens up. That's where all 5 guys from Pittsburgh have to go to the glass.
And they're pretty good at that, too, generally speaking. Brown and Page, excellent rebounders.
4 blocks already for the Panthers. Krauser got his shot affected by Francis. He got knocked to the deck by Timmermans, and the crowd can't believe there's no call. Chris Thomas spots up for 3. The rebound, Francis. A flop by Troutman, and a foul called on Troutman, further angering the crowd.
You know, Timmermans against Villanova had a very hard foul on Ray, intentional. He's an aggressive player. I don't think he realizes how...
He didn't do anything there. He was falling down.
But he still is a physical kid. I mean, he just moves the arms, and John Clockerty expressing the same to Krauser.
It just looked bad, but on that
he didn't follow through with his arm across the top of the guy's head.
I don't think Tom Timmermans really had much to do with him falling down there.
He always protects the big guys. You ever notice?
He didn't have anything to do with him except his arm coming down on top of the guy's head and knocking him down.
Krauser needs ice and stitches.
Well, I'll tell you, I didn't see that on the replay.
Mike Brey doing the right thing so the crowd doesn't get on Big Tom.
Mike Brey in his 4th year as head coach at Notre Dame. Of course, he was once an assistant coach at Duke with Jay Billis, so Jay's going to claim that his guy didn't do anything.
Taught him everything he knows.
And then you got it to television. Mark McCarroll on the floor has played great basketball of late as Brown does the post-up. He did it against Miami late in the game. He beat you a lot of ways, Jay.
Well, they love to post him up, especially out of that box. That's so hard for a guard to be able to control him, not only with his strength, but with his length.
I love Thomas early here, Sean, not forcing the issue, being played by a great defender in Page.
Well, last year, Thomas was absolutely abused here by Brandon Knight. Now he's the veteran.
Great play on cue. CT in the lane. You don't have anything. Find somebody.
Mike Brey told Chris Thomas that as he set up Torian Jones for that last bucket. He said, last year you were the immature guard and Knight was the veteran. Now you're the veteran. We expect you to play like that tonight. A little bit of a immature foul there by Thomas, a long way from the bucket as Krauser tried to move away from him.
And Mike Brey just reminding John Clockerty that was a good call, but watch the push-off as well. So much going on with the guards, trying to get good pressure on the ball, but without bumping or reaching.
It takes effort too, Jay.
It really does.
The legs.
That and post defense, 2 hardest things to do.
Colin Falls has come into the game for Notre Dame. Jerron Brown has it rattle out Torian Jones.
And what a great matchup the Brown-Jones matchup is tonight.
Disdain and refuse the high pick and roll, gets the open jumper. They've been showing on that play. And that time he just crossed over and knocked it down.
Playing with great pace.
5 points for Chris Thomas. He's averaging 19 per game and 5.5 assists per game.
Nice curl.
Good help here by Francis.
Page the miss. Torrey Morris a little bit too tight for the rebound. And a timeout with 11:45 left in the first half. Notre Dame leading by 2. A memorable week in the Big East. A number of buzzer beaters, including one by Krauser. More on that when we come back.
What you doing, Brian?
I'm just putting my name and address in these bottles and sending them out to sea. Hopefully someone will find them and contact me someday.
Wow.
Yeah, wow.
Why do you torture me, Brian Henderson of 12 Maple Lane?
For the great taste that won't fill you up and never lets you down, make it a Bud Light.
Brian. Oh, nice to meet you.
So just when I'm thinking, isn't there a car out there I could get excited about? Wham! There's this car with all this stuff. Then as I'm thinking, now here's a car I could see myself in. Wham! There's this other car with all this stuff. And just as I'm thinking, how could this possibly get any sweeter?
The all-new Mazda 3 and Mazda 3 5-door. Rethink what's possible.
Preparing for winter, these docile little fellows savor a tasty feast. Ever alert, at the first sign of danger, they react.
Wrap your paws around Taco Bell's new 99-cent cheesy bean and rice burrito. It's a full half-pound and loaded with 3 cheeses, fiesta sauce, and a cheesy, zesty kick. Now 99 cents is tasty and filling. When you think outside the bun.
This is the guy who fell for the girl.
She's not dull.
Who has a plan
$200,000.
to steal this guy's money.
Getting in deep, aren't you?
The Big Bounce, rated PG-13, starts Friday, January 30th.
John Lynch and his mom brought Chuck Flynn new Campbell's Chunky Grilled Chicken and Sausage Gumbo. It filled him up right.
Tell me what else? What else should he be doing?
Sure beats another frozen dinner. Chuck ate heartily. Later, his buddies ate their hearts out.
Last Monday night here on Big Monday, a memorable finish between Texas and Providence. The game tied at 77 in overtime. P.J. Tucker for Texas, the length of the court. The officials ruled the basket good, and the Longhorns prevailed. Then Saturday at Miami, Pittsburgh's perfect record in serious jeopardy when Carl Krauser went the length of the court in the last 4 seconds of regulation to force overtime. Pitt won it in double OT by 2. We had Providence losing another one Saturday at Rutgers on a buzzer beater. They lost by 1 point.
Palmazzano hit that big one.
Yeah.
Now, I asked both of you. You notice both got layups and the defense didn't help. Which would you rather get beat by, a layup or a jump shot? I mean, you have a choice.
I'd rather stop the ball.
Well, that's what I'm saying. And like kids like protecting, in a sense, their turf. I got to take my guy and lose view of the driver.
Colin Falls with a three-pointer. Part of the surge for Notre Dame over these last 6 games has been his shooting. Over the last 8 games, he shot 45% from 3. Krauser answers at the other end.
Well, they're going to play that underneath. They're not going to go over the top. They're going to make Krauser knock down. If he makes another one, Jay, I think they'll go over the top.
Yeah, and I think they should. I wouldn't give him that shot all game long.
I'd give him that one, though.
Well, Thomas, when he gets going early, he is awfully difficult to stop. He's the type of guy that can put up 30 on you when he gets confident, but it's all because he gets off early.
They go behind again, underneath, I should say.
What they don't want is to have Krauser turn the corner, and then they're playing 5-on-4.
These two can't get into contest, though. I think that's essential for both teams.
Shot clock at 7. Krauser got by Thomas. And met at the rim was Morris as he went up for a dunk. Morris tries again and makes it from the elbow.
Well, that's using your head, right? You're met at the summit, taking a little out.
But he didn't quit, didn't give up, showed some poise.
Falls, the freshman, way off with a three-pointer. Brown, the rebound.
But the more you watch Notre Dame, they play loosely for Mike Brady. Okay.
Well, they play with a free mind.
Yeah, they really. It's a little like the Duke, I think. There's a lot of trust.
Well, they've improved their defense a lot, but the key for them is hitting shots. Notre Dame has got to hit shots. They rely a lot upon the 3 and on getting inside to Turin Francis.
Yeah, they go underneath again. Now, he's 1 for 2 out there.
Morris took it away from Francis after the Krauser missed and watched it on the way up. Tonight, Big Monday presented by Bud Light continues with 2 more great games here on ESPN at 9 Eastern. Hakeem Warwick leads the defending national champion Syracuse Orangemen against the Missouri Tigers. That's also available on ESPN HD. And then at midnight Eastern, following Sports Center, the UNLV Runnin' Rebels host the Utah Utes. Big Monday presented by Bud Light on ESPN.
Big test for the Cuse, I think.
That's an important game for them stepping out on the road, but it's also an important game for Missouri, a key opponent that they can beat on their home floor.
Antonio Graves into the game. He fed Taft. The jump hook rattled out.
I'll tell you, not good defense by Timmermans. Taft can put you away if you let him get that entry.
Well, that's why you have to sit on that left shoulder.
And look at this. They're killing him with that high pick and roll. He's using it. They stained it the first time. That time went around it.
And he knows he is having some kind of night. He was shaking his head, Chris Thomas, down the floor saying, "You cannot guard me."
And so far he's right. He has 10 points, and Notre Dame leads by 5. Page, the 3, popped out to Jordan Cornette, the junior from Cincinnati.
A little quick.
Notre Dame doing a good job of staying home defensively.
Wow. Torian Jones the lay-in, and a timeout called by Pittsburgh.
Some pretty solid basketball by ND. And Krauser, we mentioned, Jay, they're going to go down underneath. He made the first one.
Pulls the trigger here, and wasn't able to knock that down. Then on the other end, Chris Thomas, when he uses a similar high pick, let's see how Pittsburgh is guarding that. They're trying to get over, show out, and recover. But Thomas, that's an awfully wide arc he's able to take there and get up an easy jump shot without any contesting of that shot.
You know, Page violated the rule, though, on that particular play. He went 3 removed. They were showing over the top. He's supposed to fight over the top. That's why he got such an open look.
Well, plus he's not supposed to just bump into the screen like the guy's got Velcro all over him. You're right, he was going 3rd man under, but you got to fight to get over that or trail it over the top.
How about this start, Sean, huh? Pretty solid.
And we've seen Chris Thomas be brilliant. We've seen him have nights when it has really been a struggle, and part of what Mike Bray is looking for, a big part of what he's looking for, is consistency from Thomas.
Well, the beauty of Chris Thomas is he always plays hard. Whether he's playing well or not, he always plays hard.
Well, you can mark it down after a timeout when they need a basket. Jay Brown to the box and knocks it down.
Brown is 5. Thomas short with that. Timmermans might have gone away with a little push-off on the rebound.
He did push there.
We have that on tape, Jake. Cornette for 3. Off the top of the backboard and taken down by Taft, the parade All-American in high school last year at Xaverian in Brooklyn, the same school that produced Chris Mullen.
Roger McCready also, Boston College. That last possession was a shot that Chris Thomas probably should have kept in his holster. I pulled the trigger a little bit early.
Isn't it hard, though, if you get it going a little bit, you think everything's going to flow?
Last foul on Torian Jones and a timeout. 2 fouls on Jones, a problem for Notre Dame, the Irish by 5.
So just when I'm thinking, isn't there a car out there I could get excited about? Wham! There's this car with all this stuff. Then as I'm thinking, now here's a car I could see myself in. Wham! There's this other car with all this stuff. 2 cars, the same, yet different. Kind of like those twins I met in Chicago.
The all-new Mazda 3 and Mazda 3 5-door. Rethink what's possible.
I love you so much. I love you too.
VJ, Ernie, Davis, and 14-year-old Michelle Wee headline a stellar field. Live and in prime time. The Sony Open live from Hawaii. Coverage begins 6:30 p.m. Thursday on ESPN.
It's always the same dream. I'm standing on top of my building, and it starts to grow. It starts slow, then it gets faster. Clouds fly past me, and suddenly it's all a blur. The air gets colder and thinner, and I can't catch my breath. Mergers, acquisitions, network integration. One guy to sort it all out. Growth is supposed to be a good thing, right?
Why do so many people trust Sleepy's? Perhaps because Sleepy's sells the world's finest quality mattresses at savings of 20% off other stores' advertised prices, or the mattress is free. That's Sleepy's price protection guarantee. Sleepy's delivers when you want, every day, everywhere, and we guarantee your comfort. Sleepy's, over 70 years, 3 generations, 250 convenient locations, where the customer always comes first.
Pittsburgh at 16-0, trailing by 5 under 8 minutes left in the first half. Tuesday night, ESPN and ESPN2 have a full evening of college hoops action. First at 7 Eastern on ESPN, Iowa meets Minnesota. Then at 8 Eastern on ESPN2, number 3 Wake Forest, number 16 Texas. And on ESPN at 9 o'clock Eastern time, number 5 Kentucky takes on another undefeated team, Mississippi State, in SEC action. Super Tuesday on ESPN and ESPN2. There are 7 undefeated teams remaining in Division I college basketball. You'll see 5 of them this week on the family of networks. Pittsburgh with the longest winning streak in the country, 16 in a row overall, 35 straight at home. Perhaps Notre Dame will end that streak here tonight. That's what they hope to accomplish. Nice inbound play, and Brown fouled.
Brown just overpowered Colin Falls there. That's all there was to it.
Fell asleep a little bit.
Maybe he fell asleep, but he was awakened by Jerron Brown just knocking him sideways with that great strength.
You know, Ben Howland talked about I spoke to him today about the recruiting and the influence, and you mentioned Zavarian. They've got a youngster. He committed as a junior, Mike Davis, and Barry Rorson. The New York connection.
UCLA or Pitt?
He's with Q Magazine also, by the way, in case you want to know some good John DeGroat with Pitt, Sean. Ronald Raymond and Keith Benjamin. And then, of course, on the other side, Rob Kurz. Mike Bray, happy with that addition. 6'8" out of Charter. Ben Charter.
Bill's recruiting update brought to you by Bud Light.
I think Pittsburgh needs a rebounding update. They have got to get on the glass. Notre Dame just pounding Pittsburgh on the boards. Wouldn't have expected that looking at these two teams warm up.
Much better job handling that ball screen, that trip there with Thomas.
Notre Dame by 2. Francis had trouble with a low pass. Krauser nearly intercepted.
And one thing that Corinne Francis, when he catches it, he's not going to let go of it. But he does not do a real good job of looking it into his hands. If you double team him and get right down on it, you have a chance to take it away from him.
And Krauser really tough and nasty going after that one, too.
Problem with the inbounding play.
Chris Thomas saying that Julius Page knocked it out of his hands while he was trying to inbound it.
Which would be a T.
Jim Bird, John Clougherty, Reggie Greenwood, the officials here tonight. Thomas sheds Page and makes a 3 with Yuri Demetris jumping out at him.
Boy, the pump fake people bite. Even a great defender. Nice job by Thomas. They go zone. We're going to see a lot of different looks, I think, Jay.
They'll go zone. They may go a little box in 1, triangle in 2. This team, Pittsburgh, very methodical, very patterned. You got to try to take them out of their rhythm offensively.
One guy that's very good is Brown, who's getting a blow right now. He's a great passer in the middle of the zone. Right hook he likes, as you mentioned, left shoulder.
He goes to it every single time.
A freshman. They get better at it.
Thomas to Jordan Cornett right down the lane, and a foul on Mark McCarroll, the junior from Queens, New York, out of Christ the King High School, his first foul. What a remarkable improvement he has made this year. The coaching staff really made him a project in the offseason, preseason workouts, and throughout all the practices in season. Here's a guy who's scored almost as many points this season as he did in the last 2 combined. He's played twice as many minutes already this year as he did last season.
So did he have 26 points last year? I mean, that's utterly incredible. Then one night 10 for 10 finally, I think, against Georgia. But defensively, that was his lapse, and I think that's why he's getting the blow. He's a good defender, just wasn't ready for that penetration.
He had a 26-point game earlier this year against Georgia, Bill, and that night when he shot 11 out of 12 from the floor, made his first 10, then missed a 3.
And actually, he's got better potential as a defender. He's long, can move his feet.
That's what I like about Taft, too, Jay. I mean, really explosive, long arm, good anticipation.
And Taft kind of reminds you of Chris Wilcox, the former Maryland star, now with the Clippers.
Demetris to Troutman with Taft. And Krauser and Page for the Pitt Panthers.
Don't look as confident against the zone, do they?
No, they don't. But Demetri is a very good shooter. There's a high-low. Troutman a great passer as well. Oh.
How about the bounce, the second effort, getting off the floor quickly.
Live body.
Bucket by Taft has the Panthers back within 5.
Nice ball fake.
Thomas a rare miss, but the rebound pulled down by Jordan Cornette. Francis had it slip out of his hand. Thomas got it back, but then threw it away to Taft. Troutman tries to help, and a timeout called by Pittsburgh, while Taft is in sole possession of the ball.
Looked like Jamie Dixon called that. Called it right in front of Reggie Greenwood, and Greenwood gave it to him.
Nice to be home.
Jamie Dixon, 38 years old, 12 years a Division I assistant, including the last 4 years here at Pitt before he was given the head coaching job. And we found out just how easy this head coaching thing is. Hasn't lost a game yet. Tuesday night, we remind you again our great lineup tomorrow night on both ESPN and ESPN2 at 7 Eastern on ESPN Iowa and Minnesota. Bill will be there for that one at 8 Eastern on ESPN2. Number 3 Wake Forest and number 16 Texas. And on ESPN at 9 Eastern time, Kentucky against the undefeated Mississippi State Club, ranked number 24 this week. College basketball Super Tuesday on ESPN and ESPN2.
Nice little cross here. He disdained the use of the pick and roll. Mixed his game up beautifully, adjusting to the defensive pit. Straight up man.
Here's Demetrius, who actually left the team for one game a couple of weeks ago. Wanted to reevaluate how much he wanted to play. His playing time had diminished. Decided he wanted to keep playing and came back. Playing time hasn't increased, but he's back in the fold.
You know, he's an excellent shooter, which is why he's on the floor. They switched to the man now, so I don't know how much time he'll get, but not a good pass from the box.
That was the first turnover committed by Pittsburgh. As we tick down to 5 minutes left in the first half. Notre Dame at 8-3 overall, 2-0 in the Big East, trying to go to 3-0 in the Big East for the first time ever since they joined the conference in the mid-90s.
Good pass.
And a strong move by Francis.
Great pass and a terrific job of getting that position by Francis. The nice little flash.
Inexperienced by Taft, though, Jay. He didn't walk him to the spot, didn't lead him, didn't close him out.
And he's standing straight up. Now, he's got to be down in the stance to try to stop that. Stay a step above him.
Leads at 3 out of the corner for the senior from Buffalo, New York.
It must be the headband, huh?
He designs headbands and T-shirts under the JP insignia, which stands for Just Play. Of course, also his initials. Rebound by Demetrius, and here come the Panthers down by 4.
Oh, nice defensive stand by Thomas. Tried to get the call. You're not going to get it with these officials, though.
Crowds are out of control. He needs to be careful. He's barked at the officials a couple of times tonight.
You notice how they really hug the perimeter guys. That's why the entry pass is so easily attained.
Francis the miss. Krauser the rebound. Sophomore from the Bronx.
Somebody needs to step up and stop the ball there.
Troutman bump. Count it. Jordan Cornette the foul and a chance for a three-point play.
Well, take the Chevy to the levee. Great creativity in the middle, Jay. Krauser under control. The great Phil on the wing. Set it up.
And here's the strength of Siobhan Troutman. Shot 72% from the field last year and even 70 this year. That's a guy you got to get some more looks. When you are that efficient, you want the ball in his hands.
And Troutman, junior from Williamsport, Pennsylvania, the home of the Little League World Series, with 5 points now. And that free throw gets the Panthers back within 1 with 3.5 to go in the first half.
In the war between the mob and the FBI, even cops can get caught in the crossfire.
We got to send them a message.
Gun! An all-new Line of Fire, ABC Tuesday, 10/9 Central. Viewer discretion is advised.
I know you want to hit that. I know you want to hit that.
Winter X Games 8, live from Aspen, starts Saturday, January 24th on ABC and continues nightly at 9 on ESPN.
The fast C230 sports sedan with a supercharged compressor engine. To catch one, you gotta be in one.
I want my baby back. Chili, baby back rib. I want my baby. Chili, baby back rib.
Chili's legendary mesquite smoked double-basted baby back ribs.
I got my baby back ribs.
And cash or credit? Hey, Bank One. Bank One. Seriously, I've seen these all day. It's like a revolving door. Bank One, Bank One. I'm going to be sleeping. Bank One. Oh, Helen, another Bank One. You're right. I owe you lunch. Is that you?
Find the card that fits you best. Bank One. Individual answers.
This is something that this country is ready for.
The Soviets win. My goal is to beat them.
I want you to be a hockey player!
Think that'll get them going? Oh, yeah.
This is your time. You've got 10 seconds. The countdown going on right now. 5 seconds left in the game. Believe in miracles.
Miracle. Rated PG. Starts February 6th.
Hi there, Chris Fowler, Digger Phelps, coming up on the Bank One halftime report. A couple of legends return, including Roger Clemens. We'll have our big man on campus. Your votes. And yeah, the legend to my left here, who predicted a Notre Dame victory pregame. I was thoughts on the first half, huh?
Well, I think Pitt's a little flat. They're not taking advantage of drive, and Notre Dame. It's their weakness. But the Irish, Chris Thomas, got to play under control, get it to Francis inside. The Irish will win this game.
Someone told me at halftime, you picked Notre Dame. That'll be all the inspiration the Panthers need. Sean, back to you guys.
All right, Chris, plenty of inspiration indeed.
You know, early in the year when Notre Dame was struggling, Mike was using some of Digger's stuff. Now they're playing much better. He's using his own stuff.
I would like the studio to address me as champ from now on, since Chris Fowler, he wasn't involved in the Sonic Bowl Mania Challenge, but sort of was the overseer of it from the studio.
Great collective defense, Morris included.
Krauser trying to give Pittsburgh the lead. They were twice down by 7 points. That was the largest advantage for either team when Notre Dame had a 7-point edge before a 6-0 Pitt run that is still intact.
That's the difference, I think, between Brandon Knight and Krauser, though. Brandon was much more relaxed getting people involved. Krauser has a tendency once in a while to look for himself quickly. That's not the style of Jamie Dixon.
Well, he's a guy that you don't want to corral too much because he can be so explosive. He's a guy that can give you 25 in a game.
But you know what he's guarding? Quinn has not gotten a look, a peep.
Krauser's about as tough as they come. Nice switch by Page and Krauser there.
And Brown deflected the shot of Jones.
Well, they really stand you up, Pittsburgh, on your cuts. They're so strong, they give you a bump, and you are off of your path.
Great legs, you're right.
There's a 3-ball, off the mark from Brown. Timmermans ripped it down.
They are bailing Notre Dame out by taking shots like that off of one path.
Yeah.
Just too quick.
Thomas with Quinn, Francis, Timmermans, and Jones. 2 minutes to go as Jones heads to the bucket and lost it off his leg. Interesting what Mike Bray was saying about Jones this morning. He felt earlier in the season, Jones, the returning veteran, in the absence of some good scores they lost from last year, Carroll and Miller, was maybe trying to do too much, become more of a shooter and score rather than do what he had done so well the last couple of years, which has been defend, slash to the bucket, rebound. And he's gotten back to his old form lately, and he's scored more, even though he's not trying to be a scorer as much, if that makes any sense.
It does.
Makes a lot of sense.
The double-doubles. That's why he's been so productive the last couple of games.
He's just been throwing his body around, and Torian Jones is the best athlete on this team, and he's been playing like an athlete.
See how to handle this high ball screen now. This is sort of the key, I think, for Pitt. They really stack it up, double it. Automatic switching.
Timmermans thought about a long 3 pass to Francis, who traveled.
He hopped before he put the ball down.
Hey, he's got great hands, though. You know, he's one of those guys that isn't pretty, but he's effective. Ability to do some damage, but you got to maintain the pivot foot.
Both teams more than 2 minutes without scoring now. It's been a relatively turnover-free first half.
A little bit of a 2-3 match right now. This is where I think Brown's effective, Jay. He likes to get it in the foul. Taft is there now. Let's see if they get him inside. Really finds people. Finds holes.
Carroll, wide open in the middle lane, but short with a line drive shot. Drummond from the bench.
Zimmerman took his own team out.
Well, he's an equal opportunity knocker downer.
Well, any port in the storm, I guess.
30 seconds to go in the half. 20 to shoot for Pittsburgh. Panthers have missed their last 5 field goal attempts, and now a foul on Francis. That'll be the 6th-team foul, so not yet a 1-and-1.
Unfortunately, in the 2-3 zone, you're reaching behind. You can't front the guy.
Now Jamie Dixon's team can take the last shot of the half. Colin falls back in. Timmermans will go out. And review the carnage at the bench. That
no one's talking to him over there.
Do you think that tested the faith of the priest sitting over there?
He lost his religion, I think. Or he saw the light.
Actually, the light was blotted out.
Seeing the light was our problem last Monday night at the end of that Texas Providence game.
Well, Jay and I saw it.
Neither team has scored in 3.5 minutes. Taft trying to end that. Time for a heave for Quinn, and it's off the mark. Nice first half for Chris Thomas. He had 13 points to lead all scores. 3 out of 6 from beyond the arc. Halftime, Notre Dame leads Pittsburgh 31-30. Let's join Chris Fowler and Digger Phelps now back in the studio. Time for the Bank One halftime report.
Okay, champ, thank you. Sean, you ask and you'll get the respect you deserve. This is the Bank One halftime report. Digger Phelps will join me in a second. We'll talk some college hoops. But first, other sports news. Roger Clemens returns, ending his retirement from baseball after 78 days. The 6-time Cy Young Award winner wants to try to win a world championship in his hometown of Houston. Of course, when he left the World Series against the Marlins, this was going to be his final moment. The flashbulbs going off as he ends his career with a strikeout. But surprise, here's the Marlins jersey today. It's a reunion with ex-Yankee teammate Andy Pettitte.
The bottom line is the good supersedes the bad here. I mean, there's no question about it. I get a chance to come home and work in my hometown where I grew up and watch the team and watch so many great players come through here. So at that point, my mother's blessing, my family, and these guys sitting over here today too, you know, like I said, they got me up on the fence and then they gave me that nudge to push me in the right direction.
See that Clemens was born the same year as the Houston franchise when they were called the Court 45s back in 1962. His 6 Cy Youngs compared to 1 in franchise history. He's got as many postseason wins as the entire Houston franchise. Of course, with Pettitte, gives him a powerful rotation. It's going to be a big year in Houston. They also host the 2004 All-Star Game. His mom, his kids, his mother all gave their blessing for this, by the way. Another return, Dan Marino leaving his job as the CBS pregame show to go back to the Miami Dolphins, where he played for 17 years as the head of football operations. He'll have final say on all personnel matters. And Coach Dave Wannstedt, who once shoved him out of Miami, will now have to report to him. So stay tuned on that. SportsCenter will have much more on these stories coming up after the games. Big man on campus. Who will it be? Okafor of the Huskies? We'll find out when we come back. Digger joins me.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of NCAA basketball, brought to you by Oppenheimer Funds, the right way to invest, and Mercedes-Benz, located on the web at nbusa.com.
How good is your game plan? No matter what the conditions, Oppenheimer Funds has always believed in sticking to the fundamentals, a strategy that's proven itself time and time again. Oppenheimer Funds, the right way to invest.
What are you guys doing in there? My office! Oh!
Introducing Subway's new Atkins-friendly turkey and bacon melt wrap. With under 11 net carbs, it won't make up for those sick days you spent on the golf course, but it will help make up for your recent high-carb hijinks. Subway, good, so you don't always have to be.
The boys of Bikedom are back for an all-new season of American Chopper on the Discovery Channel.
Bad bikes. Bad tempers.
Meet the Tuttles, stars of the hot new series TV guide calls A Brawl in the Family and out-of-the-box hit, high-octane family drama. The boys are back. Yeah. American Chopper. Check your local listings now on the Discovery Channel.
Watch this. Ooh, the phone bill.
$34.95.
Finally, a phone bill with no surprises. Introducing Optimum Voice, unlimited local and long distance for just $34.95 a month, exclusively for Optimum Online customers. Optimum Voice, we've opened a whole new line of communication.
The first time I fell in that bedroom, and I couldn't reach the phone.
When you fall, your chances of reaching a phone are very unlikely. Don't risk injury. Life Alert can help. Push this pendant, and Life Alert Security Center will summon the help you need, fast.
Life Alert is there when I need them, and I feel I can depend on them.
Please call 1-800-517-4488 for free information by mail. That's 1-800-517-4488. Call now.
Welcome to the Bank One Halftime Report.
The underdog Irish threatening Pittsburgh's 35-game home court winning streak. Chris Thomas with 13 points, 3 boards, 3 assists in the first half of Notre Dame. Welcome back to our Bank One Halftime Report. Chris Fowler and Digger Phelps. Time for the Monday tradition. The big man on campus. We show you the nominees. You get a chance to vote on ESPN.com. Digger, we got to go back to a week ago tonight when Texas and Rick Barnes visited Providence. And P.J. Tucker, who's a freshman getting quality minutes on a veteran deep team, 9 boards to go with the 13 points, the 6 steals. And oh, by the way, the game winner versus Providence and Notre. Look how calm the guy is. The freshman game winner on the road, national TV. Carl Krauser, the point guard you're watching for the Panthers tonight. 19 points, 3 boards, 3 assists, including the game-time layup to force OT against Miami on Saturday night. He has 8 points tonight.
Well, then you got to go to Texas Tech. When you look at, well, this is going back to Krauser, I guess, for Miami. I'm sorry, Chris.
No, he's just making steals, doing his thing. He needs to get it going in the second half. Andre Emmett.
Texas Tech. What a great game against Oklahoma State. 32 points and just did it all. Oklahoma State was never in this game. Emmett was all over the floor. They win by 21. They got a week off. They play at Baylor before next Monday night at home against Oklahoma on Big Monday. Andre Emmett and Texas Tech really good. But
he is the NBA. Look, speaking of NBA.
Wait, you see this block. How about just 9 blocks, just missed a triple-double, 21 points, 10 rebounds against this Oklahoma team who we're going to see against Texas Tech next Big Monday. But Okafor staying healthy. The Huskies are tough coming off that 1-point win on the road against Rutgers. And believe me, Okafor is as good as anybody in college basketball.
Well, the voters on ESPN.com, at least on that issue, agree with you, Digger. 51% of the vote for Okafor. Andre Emmett, a distant number 2 on ESPN.com.
Well, Okafor and company, they got a big week coming up with Georgetown, North Carolina Saturday, and then we got Pittsburgh next Monday with them.
These are the best of the rest, performers of the week who help keep their teams perfect. You love this Childress guy.
I love Childress. He's back in the lineup, played his 4th game. He gets a tip in against Arizona State, and then Stanford wins by 10 against, you got it, Arizona, and Chris Paul. Chris, I'm telling you, he can flat out play. Best point guard in the country.
Lawrence Roberts of Mississippi State, a rugged inside performer. We're coming back.
This halftime report is presented by Bank One's Personal Platinum, the credit card that's issued by us, but created by you.
And cash or credit. Hey, Bank One.
I'm just really into whales.
I love fish sticks.
Find the card that fits you best.
Oh, she's so cute.
That's you right there. Here, look at
Bank One. Individual answers.
Remember when I used to have those blackouts? Some of those memories have been coming back to me.
Evan Treborn has crossed the line between past and present.
I'd think twice about what you're doing.
Now, our future.
Every time I go back in time, everything goes wrong.
Hangs in the balance.
Oh my God, what did we do?
Ashton Kutcher, Amy Smart.
You can't play God.
The Butterfly Effect. Rated R. Starts Friday, January 23rd.
The Logitech cordless keyboard and mouse. No cords to tie you up, slow you down, or hold you back. Of course, technology can't solve everything. What will you do with all that freedom?
Become a member of Starwood Preferred Guest at Weston.com.
The fast C230 sports sedan with a supercharged compressor engine. To catch one, you gotta be in one.
Welcome to Walmart.
People deserve to have a good experience when they come here to Walmart.
The most important thing about my job is to make the customers happy so they come back to us again.
I think it's because of the people and the service and the respect that you get whenever you come here.
We always got a saying, the customer's number one.
We are nothing without our customers.
You know, I say, can I help you? What I can do for you?
I think we're all that way here.
Without the customer, I think we don't have no Walmart store.
If I can make someone's day a little bit nicer, then I've done my job.
Home is where the hoop is. With ESPN Full Court, you'll get the most out of the second half of the college basketball season. To order, call your local cable company, DirecTV, or Dish Network.
This is the Bank One Halftime Report.
New coaches poll. UConn has all but 7 first-place votes. Wake Forest takes on Texas in ESPN2 tomorrow.
And Stanford is loaded. They're back. Got Childress in that lineup. They're a very solid basketball team winning at Arizona.
Pac-10's down. They could go undefeated. I'm telling you, St. Joe's, 9 of those 13 wins away from home, Digger.
You got to love Louisville. Lost in overtime to Iowa the first game of the year. Francisco Garcia is leading them to 11-zip run since.
Roy Williams and the Heels up to 11. They host UConn this weekend.
Yeah, I love Carolina. Sean May really playing tough in the paint. Raymond Felton doing a job running the team.
Sooners and Yellow Jackets both drop off losses. Wisconsin is the highest Big Ten ranked team at 18, but have only 2 in the poll.
They will win the Big Ten Conference. This will be 3 straight for Bo Ryan. They lost at Maryland, Alabama. They are solid.
First, you saw Syracuse. We'll see them coming up. Marquette. It's a very strong Conference USA start. A lot of depth in that league this year.
In the SEC with Mississippi State, Chris, we like what they are. It's a soft 13-0, and we'll find out. Tomorrow night, they're playing Kentucky. They go to LSU on Saturday. We'll see if they're for real.
Finally ranked at 13-0, the lowest of the 6 ranked undefeated teams. Mentioned game number 2 tonight, Missouri and their troubles at 6-5 hosting Syracuse, and then at midnight, Utah and UNLV to wrap up big money presented by Bud Light. You know, Missouri has to be the most disappointing team in the country. I know it's early, but they have so much talent, Digger, so much depth. Yeah, the off-court problems. How much is that a part of it? How much is it the non-performance of Paulding and Arthur Johnson?
Well, I think you got to go with Arthur Johnson. When you look at their first 9 games, they go 5-4 before they get into the conference. They're giving up 72 points a game. They're averaging 16 turnovers a game. And the next thing you know, the opposition's only averaging 11 turnovers a game, which means 82 steals for the opposition to their 54. Now, Arthur Johnson, the first 9 games, only taking 9 shots. Even in their loss against Iowa State the other night, he goes 5 for 8. Let's get him the ball. Let's get him 20 touches a game. And ever since the three-point line has come in, Chris, people have forgotten that. Points in the paint to start the game, get the other team in foul trouble. Now you control the boards. Now you start the run. That'll free up Missouri. It's got to go with Arthur Johnson.
Well, Arthur Johnson would like to second your motion that he get more touches. His minutes have been dropping this year as Snyder goes to a quicker lineup, but they're not playing defense.
Well,
right.
Syracuse zone
Coach
tonight.
K protege, they're not playing defense.
You got it. You got it. And the zone will bother them tonight from Syracuse.
That should be a good second game, Syracuse and Missouri. Good second half coming up as the Irish lead at Pittsburgh by a point. Second half straight ahead.
This halftime report is presented by Bank One's Personal Platinum, the credit card that's issued by us, but created by you.
You think about designing an SUV with room for 7 people.
and room for the things that 7 people like to take along. But mostly, you think about the 7 people themselves and how an SUV can finally help protect each and every one of them. You think about that, then you build.
The Volvo XC90, the first SUV equipped with third-row safety curtains, a roll stability control system, and guided by conscience.
For flicks.
Yeah, you know, you can only get that DVD here. Get you front and center for the Rolling Stones shows.
Get 4 Flicks, the ultimate live Rolling Stones concert DVD box set, exclusively at Best Buy. Thousands of possibilities. Get yours.
Sometimes when people come into H&R Block, it's like looking in a mirror. I remember the pressure. Student loans, overdue bills. With Instant Money, they can walk in with their taxes and walk out with a loan check.
Instant Money loans, another advantage of H&R Block.
Cold pills. Could any of them start to work faster than Vapor Rub's cooling vapors? So you feel like you're breathing again? We don't think so.
Take advantage of great lease and finance rates. Only through January 31st.
So, we got a deal on this car?
It's good to know your money's ready.
No. Call me when you find a red one.
Even if you're not. The Orange Savings Account. Your cash on call, earning America's highest yield with no minimums or fees. Call 1-800-ING-DIRECT.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of NCAA basketball. Brought to you by Volvo. Volvo for life.
Jerome Lane with a famous send it in. We'll see that play again later.
I love that play.
Understandably so. You probably still have residuals from that call.
I have some glass I sold, too.
Welcome back to Pittsburgh. Halftime, the undefeated Panthers trailing Notre Dame by 1. It was pretty well played first half, both sides.
It really was. Chris Thomas did a nice job in the first half, I thought.
Thank you for boxing him out. I've had enough of him. We're only halfway through the season. Chris Thomas has played magnificently solid within himself. Pitt has not shot the ball well, which is one of their strengths, Jay.
Well, if they get the ball inside, that's where they will have success.
Notre Dame goes inside, and Sharin Francis will have a chance for a three-point play to open the second half.
Nice job by Francis in slipping that screen. Thomas about to use the screen, seeing the tap, is hedging out on top, got above that right shoulder his, and Francis just went right to the basket. Excellent job.
How about the left hand off the dribble by Thomas? And this Notre Dame team slips to the goal beautifully, too.
And the Panthers lost the rebound out of bounds after Francis missed the free throw. The foul was on Chavon Troutman, and that was his third. So he goes out of the game just 10 seconds into the second half.
I asked Jamie Dixon what they weren't doing well at 16-0, and he thought, nice tip here. They're going to get a foul on Quinn. Really hurts Pitt, though. But he said their post defense has not been good, and case in point with Troutman getting in trouble on the other end.
Boy, a very good foul by Chris Quinn. Saved a basket right there. It wasn't the type of foul that would have been intentional.
Now, are you going to get a call from Hank for that now?
No, I mean, I don't like the rule. I think the intentional foul rule, the referees have been calling it right. It's just not a good rule. They need to get rid of it.
But Hank explained that it is the rule, and they're asked to call it.
Absolutely.
We just don't like the rules. But Page, we like that little jumper. Can he propel upward?
For those who don't equate Hank Nichols on the same level as Madonna or Cher or another one-name person, could you explain who Hank is?
Well, most people in the country do that follow basketball. Nice little reverse here. Going without it, you got to step and go when you are Quinn, but Hank's the supervisor of officials.
Thank you.
Nationally for the NCAA.
And was an outstanding official himself.
And has never been compared with Donna, I assure you. Or been with her.
I just thought he was one of those people apparently was just known by one name.
And this is, I believe, the little post-up wipeout.
Got Brown.
Brown, yeah. Well, you were mentioning Quinn not getting looks. They've guarded him well. The only clean look he had was the end of the half. Now, here's the denial.
Well, he got Krauser out. Krauser never looked at him, was looking at the ball the entire time, got above him a little bit, and Chris Quinn took complete advantage of it.
Last foul on Brown, his first. Here's Francis with Quinn. They've done a good job getting out on him quickly tonight. Have the Panthers. Timmermans, Jones, and Thomas on the court for the Fighting Irish.
Now, this is why you can get it into the post, but you got to hold it. They're playing the shooters so tight, Pitt, it's an open entry.
Francis lost it off his own foot. Krauser with Taft, Brown, Page, and McCarroll. Krauser a miss. Out of bounds. Last touch by the Panthers.
That's a terrible shot.
That's not Pitt basketball.
Coming down, not making a pass, not making Notre Dame guard you.
We talk about the carryover in philosophy and how so many of the things that they do in this program are the same. Jamie Dixon, coach with Ben Howell a long time, but one of their hallmarks in recent years, in addition to the great defense, patience on offense, and they've not been patient tonight. Neither was Notre Dame there as Timmermans hoisted a three.
Bill, how about the adjustment? Mike Bray bringing Turin Francis up to set that high pick. That way they'll rotate. They roll and release, and then rotate Tom Timmermans up top.
Who can shoot it.
Sloppy play on both sides here in the first 2 minutes of the second half. Really a carryover from the end of the first half when Notre Dame missed its last 4 shots of the half and Pitt missed the last 5. Neither team scored in the last 3 minutes and 40 seconds of the first half. Torrey Morris.
Steps, a good call too. And Chris Thomas down there really disturbing and distracting.
There's some awfully big bodies down in that low post, not just Torrey Morris, but Turin Francis is a load.
Their academy up in the Boston area, Sean McDonough.
Yes.
Thought I'd get it in, save the embarrassment.
Excellent hockey players that come out of their academy. Tony Amati and Jeremy Roenick among them. The runner wouldn't go for Thomas.
And a bad foul in the backcourt.
Yep, sure it was. And that's the second on Chris Thomas.
Actually forced him into the runner, one of the few bad shots he's taking, and the locals proving their distaste for the foul, I guess.
Well, it seems like any time you slap down, you're going to get a foul. If he had tried to rake up, he might have gotten that ball away.
Stagger on the other side.
Page, a nice catch in traffic. He did well to get that shot up as well and in. 7 points for Julius Page, named after the great Julius Irving by his parents, who are basketball fans.
He never stops running. That was a stagger for him. He kept cutting and gave himself a chance. He was available.
Great pressure on the ball.
Yep, couldn't get out of the corner with Page right on him. Quinn, the sophomore, with the runner, and an offensive foul.
Well, they forced him to put it on the floor, and I think this Pitt team, you can dribble, drive, and find somebody, but you've got to jump stop. They've been throwing runners, Jay, at the end of it.
They are so good defensively. It's so hard to come all the way from the sideline with 2 dribbles and hope to get all the way to the 10. I agree with you. You got to give that up early or pull up and take that medium-range shot.
Chance for the lead for Pitt. Notre Dame has led virtually throughout. Ron Brown right around Jones for the lead.
That is all strength, believe it or not. It's clever, but he gets that derriere tuck on a guy and then explodes to the 10.
He looked like a running back turning the corner.
Poised right now.
Nice.
Jordan Cornette couldn't quiet the crowd. Jones had his hands on the rebound. Out of bounds, last touch by Krauser. timeout. 15:58 left here in Pittsburgh.
The NCAA Women's Basketball Championship coming in March.
You want to see how we do football? Keep your eye on this. Yeah, baby. That's right. This ain't just football. This is NFL Street. Rated E for everyone. EA Sports.
You think about the roads people drive on, how each one is different. Then you build a family of cars that helps make them all the same. The 2004 Volvos with electronically controlled all-wheel drive. For confidence on any road.
When the stakes are high, the great ones answer the call. Like a November wind, you cut through the unforgiving wasteland of company data and emerged with numbers that were once untouchable. You have the new Microsoft Office system. It's showtime.
In 1977, an idea was planted. One day, it would lead to high-speed internet access, streaming video, and sharing digital photographs. It's been 25 years now. Today, SBC companies supply more people with high-speed DSL than anyone else in America. Obviously, the idea grew. SBC, going beyond the call.
This is just the start of another great Big Monday presented by Big Bud Light. Or Big Light.
By Big Bill.
I'm a Big Light. Big Bud Light.
I don't mind if I do.
Just reading Wheaton. Syracuse and Missouri on ESPN HD, midnight Eastern, UNLV in Utah. And gentlemen, feel free to read from your diligently prepared index cards.
Well, the juice we mentioned with Hakeem setting the tone. And this is a good test for them, we said earlier.
That's all you got?
I will save it for the next break.
Okay. Was it because I kind of botched it with Big Light?
One of the few turnovers in the game thus far.
It's been a well-played game until that delivery.
Big Light. You didn't hear they changed the name of the brand. Jones.
And they've been getting it inside when they want it. It's just right here making the right decision. Nice help by McCarroll.
Morris at the primary defense. McCarroll blocked the shot of Francis. The shot clock did not reset, so 15 left to shoot for the Irish. Tough shot by Thomas and the soft roll.
Hey, that was a good-looking delivery, though, stroke-wise, Sean. Nice rotation, soft enough to gather and linger.
And that slip by Turin Francis really seemed to open things up for Thomas. Gave him a little bit more room to operate.
And you had mentioned that play before with Timmermans. Cornette was the guy stepping up to come out. Who could make that shot as well?
A bucket by Thomas gave Notre Dame the lead. Pittsburgh had taken the lead for the first time since 13 minutes remained in the first half, and it was 12-10. Out of bounds. It'll be Pittsburgh ball with the fresh shot clock.
You know, if you're Pittsburgh, you don't want to totally overlook the three-point shot and perimeter shots in general, but they're getting so much when they're going to the basket. I think you've got to attack this team off the dribble.
I'm impressed with Notre Dame's rebounding. And they match the opponent. They're not overly big or overly strong, but collectively, they do a heck of a job on the 10.
They've really been disciplined defensively, staying down in a stance, not going for fakes.
Brown in traffic in the lane. McCarroll from the free throw line. The rebound, Cornette lost it to Brown. Cage, a good fake to Chet Thomas, and a chance for three as he was fouled by Francis.
Well, the bookends, Sean, are unbelievable. Jaron Brown with strength, effort, penetration. Anybody else would have turned it over, Jay. The find here, and how about the finish?
This is just a man taking it to the basket, absorbing that contact with the strength to get it up and in.
That page is a whole story, huh? Loading up and finishing.
Boy, to have these two guards, Julius Page and Jerron Brown, both lefties, both incredibly strong and both very good defenders. These kids they're not kids, they're men, and they are winners. They are all about winning.
Having been around for so long, that's, I think, so key in college basketball. If you've got experience, they know how to take the hits, come back from a deficit.
Page missed the free throw. Pittsburgh by 1, 14.5 to go. Thomas the pull-up. Short off the bank. Cornette kept it alive.
Great job by Cornette.
Nice.
Thomas ran right to that spot for the three.
And it was Jones driving to the gap, forced the pinch defense, and then the slap back. They do that beautifully, Jay.
And he didn't over-penetrate.
18 for Thomas, on the verge of his 6th game already this season of 20 points or more. This is just the 12th game of the year for Notre Dame. Brown a miss. It got deflected back to him, then he lost it off his ankle.
Now, this is a play they run beautifully. I think get to the gap, Jay. Force that defense in.
And a nice screen by Tom Timmermans there to pick off Mark McCarroll so he couldn't get there. And Chris Thomas, when he is confident, he is doubly dangerous.
He is on a different level tonight. The fans have been after him. He loves it. It's his stage right now.
He had a rough outing last year in this ball game. And he is taking it out on the Panthers right now.
He's playing off the ball, which makes him doubly tough, I think. Give him more bumps.
He's been good turning these screens down as well.
Nice pop.
Timmerman, an extra step.
Just a little, he was close enough. He had the nice little pop.
Well, that might have been one to give up as well. Take one dribble, find somebody else.
9th turnover for Notre Dame was committed by Timmermans. He's played in each of the last 4 games after missing 4 with a back injury. Came off a season-high 19 minutes Saturday at Villanova. It'll be interesting to see if fatigue is a factor, particularly for Pittsburgh. They played Saturday at Miami, a double overtime game. 4 of their regulars played at least 41 minutes. And of course, they had a relatively long trip back here from Miami.
They do go pretty deep, and how about that? Troutman, a great look. Taft just in fresh, Sean, to respond to your remark. Great send it in.
6 points for Taft. He's had back-to-back 17-point games against Virginia Tech and Miami. Tied at 40, under 13 to go. Quinn open for one of the few times tonight, and a 3-ball for Chris Quinn, a sophomore from Dublin, Ohio. He has 5 points.
Pretty good decision by Thomas, huh?
Well, the penetration has been outstanding for Notre Dame, but they're not over-penetrating. They're collapsing that defense and then kicking it out to a shooter who is ready when the ball arrives.
Clear out.
Page too strong for Quinn. Just bounced him away and scored.
That's twice the defense was tardy responding to that clear out.
Thomas to Quinn. Rebound by Jones. Thomas wide open.
He wants it, he feels it, and they know when to get it to him. He's got the response tonight.
21 for Chris Thomas. And a timeout called by Pittsburgh with 12:04 remaining.
The answer for Pittsburgh's strength has been the strength of Notre Dame from beyond the arc.
You think about designing an SUV with room for 7 people. And room for the things that 7 people like to take along. But mostly, you think about the 7 people themselves and how an SUV can finally help protect each and every one of them. You think about that, then you build.
The Volvo XC90, the first SUV equipped with 3rd-row safety curtains, a roll stability control system, and guided by conscience.
On DVD January 20th.
Men are going to get killed here today, and I'm going to kill them.
A story of the West that's never been told.
You the one who killed our friend? That's right.
Open Range. Own it on DVD and video Tuesday, January 20th.
Aren't you tired of frozen dinners?
Make it Campbell's instead.
Thanks. Chunky chicken corn chowder now has more chicken.
And who taught you how to pick a melon?
Stop crying. It's okay. You're fine. No?
AOL 9.0 optimized with top speed technology makes web pages load up to 5 times faster than before.
Mommy's home. Such a good boy.
Life needs quick thinking.
Right now, get all the shrimp you can eat at Red Lobster. Oh, yeah.
It's here. Endless shrimp. So much mouth-watering shrimp, everyone's talking about it. Now at Red Lobster.
And cash or credit. Hey, Bank One. Bank One. Seriously, I've seen these all day. It's like a revolving door. Bank One, Bank One. I'm going to be sleeping. Bank One. Oh, Helen, another Bank One. You're right. I owe you lunch. Is that you?
Find a card that fits you best. Bank One. Individual answers.
Welcome back to Pittsburgh. Sean McDonough with Jay Billis and Bill Raftery. Big money presented by Bud Light. And next Monday night, the unveiling of the silver anniversary team from the Big East Conference. Boy, that would be a tough choice to come up with just 5 players over the last 25 years, the 5 best from each of those conferences. But next Monday night when Pittsburgh plays Connecticut here on ESPN, starting at 7 o'clock, we'll unveil the silver anniversary Big East team. And you were one of the 5 selectors, were you not, Mr. Raftery?
Well, I was the coach for the silver anniversary team.
As voted by the other coaches.
I think it's going to be as hard in the ACC or whatever other conference they do. I think Jay Billis will be a shoo-in down there. But right now, Pitt's got a lot of work to do.
Boy, they really want to go after those jump shots, and that is not what has been successful for the Panthers tonight.
They're away from their game for the first time this year that I've seen.
3 for Quinn. Rebound, Page couldn't control it. And a travel called. Jones didn't like the call. Mike Bragg jumps up quickly and says, don't say any more to Reggie Greenwood. Fortunately for the Irish, Reggie, an even-tempered guy. Timeout.
Simple, really. If we could get everybody in the country to drive the all-new Chevy Malibu Max, we think they'd agree. It's just about perfect. The new Chevrolets, an American revolution.
IO Digital Cable Service from Cablevision is here with the biggest and best in home entertainment. IO offers over 200 exciting channels, including up to 50 movie channels, and more than 700 on-demand titles each month that you can start anytime. Best of all, IO is only $9.95 more per month. It's bigger than TV, better than satellite TV. It's the best value in home entertainment. TV is now IO Digital Cable Service from Cablevision. Call today, 1-866-30-DIGITAL.
There I was doing jump shots with Pam Anderson. Now you look like a guy who's life insurance.
Every passenger has a story.
You don't come from the streets, man. I come from the streets.
She takes a wheelchair just so she can get like ahead of everybody and stuff, but she doesn't need one. Get out of the wheelchair!
Airline. We all have our baggage. Mondays on A&E.
Brought to you locally by Mercedes-Benz of Massapequa. We make it happen.
Notre Dame trying to hand Pittsburgh its first loss of the season. And the Irish with a 4-point lead on a great night for Chris Thomas.
Boy, he's done a little bit of everything, Jay. He got himself into good shooting position, available. And this is just a great play. You mentioned Timmerman's screen. Perfect drive, draw, and kickback.
Well, Chris Thomas playing with a nice pace to his game. He's attacking at the right moments. He's also pulling it back. And right now, with those kind of numbers, making a pretty good bid to be on that Big East all-time team, huh? Or at least last 25 years.
So he's playing very well. Sean's got 5 Syracuse guys.
I do. I have my team. I'll give it to you on the next whistle. Chris Thomas is a terrific player, but he's not on the 25th anniversary.
No, it's a segue.
All-time Biggie. It's a reach.
That was a reach in by Timmermans. You're right.
Even by our pathetic standards, that was a jam.
You know, this is interesting. This is it. Can I give you one thought here?
No.
Jamie Dixon, that's a big time out for him. He's got to get his team back playing Pittsburgh basketball. They went right inside. Now, what's your thought?
The only way a segue is effective is if you follow it up. Now, Mr. Segue here, teed us up for 25th anniversary all-time team. And what would the term be? Unsegue? Bill, unsegue?
Yeah, referee wants to talk about the timeout.
Page, I think the moment is lost now. But I did have my team. Pearl Washington, Sherman Douglas, Derek Coleman, Ronnie Cycli, Leo Routens would be my 25th.
And who's the coach?
Jim Boeheim.
Red Bruin's going to give you a phone call.
They get the jump shot, but within the offense that time. A lot of ball movement, reverse. We haven't seen them go side to side at all, Jake.
14 points for Page. Pittsburgh back within 1. They've trailed most of the night. They're nearly midway through the second half now.
Look how far Taft had pushed Francis off the low block. Good post defense.
Thomas, the pass was a little too slow to him. Demetrius guilty of a reach-in on Jones. All right, here is the 25th anniversary all-time. In my opinion, now you voted, Bill, so maybe we shouldn't ask you who you would pick. I'd say Patrick Ewing, Chris Mullen, Allen Iverson, Derek Coleman, Pearl Washington. I am a little biased toward the 2 Syracuse.
How about Ray Allen?
Ray Allen would be the 6th man.
A nice look here on the quick hitter.
I don't think that's going to be the exact team, but that would be my pick. I don't know who the exact team is.
There's so many great players. So many great players. Eddie Pickney being another one that you didn't mention. Oh, tough shot, even if it goes. See, that's something I have not seen them do as much. Although against Miami, which they won, Carl Krauser did a little more of that hide and seek on the top guy.
I think they wanted to try, at least Krauser wanted to try to punish Thomas for going underneath that high screen. And I'll tell you what, if they're going to get that kind of offensive rebounding coverage, then you can take that shot.
Mike Bray's gamble has been very successful, though. Going under, challenging the deep shot of the guards.
Well, also by going underneath, Bill, Notre Dame puts Pittsburgh in the position of doing something they don't normally do, and that's pull the trigger on a number of threes out top.
They're not a good free throw shooting team. Managed to be undefeated at this point despite 63% from the line. 0 for 2 for Brown, but then they get the rebound and put it back up and in. Pittsburgh tonight 3 for 8 from the line. And that's going to hurt them eventually as they look to remain undefeated.
Chevy Troutman with the save there, kicked it back out for Brown to finish.
Panthers by 1. Quinn from just inside the free throw line.
Boy, what a great read to curl that top screen. Came off a stagger. His defender trailing him. A lot of poise by Chris Quinn.
And that's a tough shot because they're hugging his hip on the shooting hand.
Looked like he held on to it a little bit longer than normal. Shot it on the way down.
That's a better job there. Prying, not settling for the deep one.
Troutman, quick first step, but Fournette recovered. Troutman missed a short one and then tipped it up and in.
He's got such big shoulders, Jeb. It's impossible to get him out of the area.
Troutman shooting 70% from the floor for the year. Last year, 71.8%, which would have been the 3rd highest ever in a season in the history of NCAA basketball. He did not have enough field goal attempts to qualify.
The only guy I can remember doing something like that is Steve Johnson back at Oregon State in the 80s.
Francis, a soft touch, but by his standards, tonight, Troutman having a terrible shooting night. He's 3 for 6, 50%.
He's a great offensive player, though, Steve Johnson, in his older days. I think Jay remember that far back.
They played for Ralph Miller at Oregon State along with Radford and Bloom and Charlie Sitton.
You on your all Pac-10 anniversary team. Krauser scores.
He's got either hand when he gets to the rim. I'll say that about him. Very clever, very competitive.
10 for Krauser. Pitt by 1, and a foul called by Jim Burr on the drive. Julius Page called for the foul. Gives us a chance to remind you that Big Monday presented by Bud Light continues with 2 more games right here on ESPN. Number 19, Syracuse against the Missouri Tigers. That's available on ESPN HD and at midnight Eastern. Right after Sports Center, the Running Rebels of UNLV host the Utah Utes.
We talked earlier about McKinney running the point. He's done a decent job for Missouri, Jay.
He has done a good job. He does have poise, but he's not the type of guard that is going to push it up the court quickly. So Missouri's got to be a team that passes ahead.
Foul on Demetrius on the inbounding play and a timeout.
Oh, Cedric, this is perfect.
Yeah, just you, me, and 6 of our best friends.
Ooh.
You know, I feel so good. I could just...
Oh, Cedric, I love when you dance.
I got a fire in my pants, girl.
Ooh, Cedric.
With a great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down. Make it a Bud Light.
Cedric. Cedric.
Simple, really. If we could get everybody in the country to drive the all-new Chevy Malibu, we think they'd agree. It's just about perfect. The new Chevrolets, an American revolution.
This isn't just a winning routine. It's also years of great coaching. No one can reach their full potential alone. To help achieve your goals, talk to your advisor about Oppenheimer funds. The right way to invest.
Have you ever stolen any money?
He's doing it. She's planning it.
Do you think I'm that easy?
Uh-huh.
He's controlling all of it.
Getting in deep, aren't you?
The Big Bounce, rated PG-13.
Get a room.
Starts Friday, January 30th.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of NCAA basketball, presented by Bud Light. For the great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light. And in part by the new Chevrolets. 10 new cars and trucks in 20 months. An American revolution.
Sean McDonough with Bill Raftery and Jay Billis back at the Peterson Event Center on the campus of the University of Pittsburgh. The longest home winning streak in the country in jeopardy tonight, as Notre Dame and Pitt are in a tight one with 8 minutes to go. Pittsburgh's won 35 in a row at home. They've never lost in this beautiful new building.
And it is a nice building, and it is loud. A great place to play for a first-year coach, isn't it?
It's a tough atmosphere to come in, and the poise of Notre Dame has been exceptional. Get it inside here, get the easy goal. Too easy. The concern of the post defense. Not solid by Pitt.
11 points now for Turin Francis. Notre Dame back up by 1. There have been 10 lead changes in the game now.
With 2-3 zone now for Notre Dame.
10 lead changes in the second half after there was only 1 lead change in the first half.
Doing some bump switching, making sure everything's covered.
Look at the area. Troutman gets into the hole. They really pop the spots.
Krauser ran in quickly as if he thought that was off out of his hand, but he made it for 3 and a 2-point lead for Pittsburgh.
Taft doing a better job rooting his man out, Francis. Now they can give him some help if he dribbles.
He's been beating him middle.
And they should deny every place now.
7 minutes left.
Ooh.
Long 3 by Quinn off the back rim. Thomas crashed and didn't get it. Demetrius rips it away, and then he was fouled.
And Mike Bray's got a legitimate beat, though. That was held long enough.
He had it the first
jump ball, yeah.
He had it the first time. Now, Mike Bray is saying, listen, my guys have been just as tough out there. Reward them. That's a held ball right there.
Sure should have been. Even in the playground.
It was a foul the second time around, but he had the held ball, and that is his fourth.
Well, that really hurts them. As we know, he's been explosive. Sean mentioned slashing. I just like his overall activity pursuing the ball.
Demetrius, and that Achilles heel for Pitt again, the free throw shooting. Still a 2-point lead for the Panthers. They're 3 for 9 from the line tonight. Thomas, wow, put the defense, dumped it down to Francis, and Taft knocked it out of bounds.
Well, that showed some strength there in traffic, able to discard people cleanly.
On this set, Pittsburgh's got to look to switch some of these screens.
They got a moving screen, I believe, on Timmermans. Let's see. No?
Nope, they got Jerron Brown.
They got Brown.
Six-team foul, so one more and it's a bonus. It's Big Monday presented by Bud Light. Notre Dame, which has had great success recently against Pittsburgh. They've won 5 out of the last 6 between the two in the regular season, trying to give the Panthers their first loss of this season.
That's tough when you clutch from deep and you don't get your legs as smoothly into it.
I think he was trying to get Page to leave his feet. But I agree with you. That might have been one he should have pulled back if he had to double clutch there.
Troutman the screen for Krauser.
And they got the mismatch if they want it with Troutman and Thomas.
They just got to front him.
And they got Thomas.
And is that on Thomas or Troutman?
No, Thomas. And that's a nice job by Mike Bray. This is the rooting out. Officials aren't going to let him. He's initiating. I know Troutman, it looks a little more physical, but once you lean on a guy, and Mike Bray calmed him down. Just, he knows he's in the game. Just relax.
3 fouls on Thomas. The Irish over the limit. This is a 1-and-1. 8-team foul. So 2 more, and then it'll be a double bonus. And now Troutman makes the first. He was the first ever Mr. Basketball in Pennsylvania. They started handing out that award in the year 2000.
Watch how low he gets into a crouch before he shoots it. Just a 57% shooter, but Pudge Rodriguez doesn't get that low.
Down in on the feet. I'll tell you what, he's got some pair of legs, though, which is why he's such a great post-up guy and rebounder, Troutman.
Taft cleared the miss. 6 minutes to go. Pittsburgh by 3.
The big subs punish you as the game wears on, and Pitt possesses those.
Page, a 3 that rattles out, tipped around. Troutman says, that's mine.
You mentioned his high school success. One night he had 37 rebounds in high school. That one was the tippy-toe variety.
Well, a half rebound should go to Jerron Brown. He kept that ball alive and allowed Troutman to get it. Here's the post up by Brown. Out of the box set.
Couple of moves. Jones playing with the 4 fouls. Had a layoff. This is the largest lead for Pittsburgh.
So clever in the box area. And that left hand, it's tough to defend.
Timeout Notre Dame as we celebrate our 25 seasons of college basketball on the ESPN family of networks. Let's flash back into the archives.
Picked off by Miller. Goes ahead. Lanes on the other wing. Fine. Yeah! Send it in, Jerome! We're going to be a while.
One of the most memorable moments of our 25 years, and the great call by Mike Gorman.
Absolutely. It destroyed my social evening, I might add, and he was right. It was quite a lengthy evening. In fact, we had Don Nelson come in to fill some time.
I'll tell you that, if you ask me, that's got to be right up near the top of the greatest moments as far as being memorable. Everybody knows.
Send it in, Jerome. Right now, the Irish are looking to send it in. CT as in Thomas.
Taking down near 5 minutes remaining. Notre Dame down by 5, largest deficit of the night. Francis, tough shot. Krauser in the traffic for the rebound.
And Troutman with a great defensive maneuver.
Taft.
He runs so well.
Now's where Notre Dame has to be strong with the ball. They've been getting bumped, and they have not reacted to it.
Thomas almost got stuck in the air. Jones. Boy, did they need that.
Well, great composure, though. The quick timeout by Mike Bray. Good poise. Thomas didn't jack it up. Found somebody at home.
After Pittsburgh got the defensive board after this shot by Corinne Francis, here's where Krauser, as a guard rebounder, can push the tempo himself. And Chris Taft running the floor. Doesn't he remind you a little bit of Chris Wilcox?
Very much so. Taft runs heartily. It's up and down with the best of them for that size.
What a great Super Tuesday lineup tomorrow night on ESPN and ESPN2. A full evening of basketball starting at 7 Eastern on ESPN when Iowa takes on Minnesota. At 8 Eastern on ESPN2, number 3 Wake Forest, and number 16 Texas. And on ESPN at 9 Eastern time, number 5 Kentucky takes on number 24 Mississippi State. A lot of people here in Pittsburgh wanted Skip Prosser to be their coach. He's a Pittsburgh native. He's done great work at Xavier and at Wake Forest. And today in the local paper, one of the columnists who criticized the hiring of Jamie Dixon officially apologized in print.
And speaking of apologizing, none necessary there as Brown comes to his dominant side with the left hand.
Just too strong. Got away with a little bit of a hook, but he wheeled into that lane. Posting up a guard so difficult to stop.
Pitt now dominating in the paint. Thomas, it's ripped off the glass by Taft.
Big time snatch by the rookie.
What a man's rebound that was.
Woo. He has some upside.
This is where Pittsburgh can use a little bit of clock.
Well, they got Krauser with the push-off. Not a good play, and that's what you need from your lead guard. Total composure. You've got control. You've got the ball. You got to get shots.
Foul on Krauser, his second, and a big call as it gives the ball back to Notre Dame after the timeout. The bucket by Brown made it 61-54 Pittsburgh.
Get a little out of line. The best thing about being a woman is the prerogative to have a little fun.
The new Chevy Colorado Crew Cab has the biggest interior in its class. So if you're ever uncomfortable, it won't be because of lack of space.
Man, I feel like a woman.
Everything's bigger in Colorado. An American revolution.
They're everywhere. Beautiful widescreen high-definition televisions struck down in the prime of their careers by an utter lack of HD programming. With your help, we can put millions of HD TVs back to work. Now you can subscribe to Boom, 39 channels of high-definition programming, 21 channels you can't see anywhere else, plus premium and local channels in standard and high definition. Just the thing to keep those HD TVs pretty busy. And if you call 1-866-857-BOOM today, all the monthly programming Boom has to offer is free through February. 39 HD channels and more. All free if you order right now. So call 1-866-857-BOOM today and subscribe to Boom. Fire up your HD TV with 39 HD channels. Because an HD TV without Boom is just a TV.
1, 2, 3. Missed it, missed it.
Home is where the hoop is. With ESPN Full Court, you'll get the most out of the second half of the college basketball season. To order, call your local cable company, DirecTV at 1-800-DirecTV, or Dish Network at 1-800-333-DISH.
Up next on Big Monday, presented by Bud Light, Hakeem Warwick and the Orangemen visit troubled Missouri. That is coming up next.
And we'll be watching that one, Chris. Welcome back to the Peterson Event Center. And among those in attendance, Jerome Bettis.
The bus told Jay and I he's heard some of your comments and he wants a piece of you on his bus.
Maybe he'll take us bowling after the game. Very good bowler, of course, a product of Notre Dame, here to root on his alma mater. He's very much a man of the community here in Pittsburgh. So I would assume when they don't play Notre Dame, at least he cheers for the Panthers. And a foul on Krauser. Those are 2 quick fouls in a row on Krauser, including the offensive foul a moment ago that was borderline at best.
Well, the offensive foul was a nickel-dimer, as
sure
Phil
was.
Rafferty would say. But this one was a foul. He stuck his arms out. You got to call that.
Yep. They had him down to 19 seconds. They were in trouble, the Irish. You don't need that particular foul.
And out of bounds, last touch by Francis. The front end of the 1-and-1 miss by Jones. And free throw shooting hurting both teams right now.
Well, it's especially hurtful where you're on the road trying to make a comeback. You have got to knock free throws down. And especially after Krauser's offensive foul and then Krauser putting him on the line, you got to take advantage of it.
Now, this team has had to come back, Notre Dame. They did it against Villanova on Saturday. It's a matter of rebounding, I think, and you may see Pitt use a little more clock and not be in such a hurry to jack up the deep one. Look at this cut and look by Brown to Page.
16 points for Page, the largest lead now for either team. Pittsburgh by 9, 2:45 to go.
Troutman got away with a shove.
Francis swatted from behind by Taft.
He is so strong, Chevy Troutman. He moves you 4 or 5 paces, and now Taft from the rear.
But with Francis being so indecisive when he gets the ball in there, tough to make a quick move, that gave Taft the time to recover from the backside and knock that away with those long arms.
They just don't have an answer in the low post like they do with Brown at the other end.
Wow. Woo. Quick catch and shoot by Quinn from right in front of the bench, and a huge 3 for the Irish. In danger of watching this one slip out of reach. Now they're back within 6.
Well, at some point you can go hack a Panther and send him to the line, make him earn it.
Wow, does that take a little early onions? A runner. But the jam up by Quinn opened the lane.
You know what? You might want to start making him trade 2 for 3.
Francis stripped, but a foul call.
Big play by Krauser again. You got to give it to him.
Was it a foul or out of bounds?
I thought he got the basketball. Now they're going out of bounds.
Looked like he stepped out of bounds.
He must have been out of bounds when he grabbed the ball, Sean.
That was the call, and they reset the shot clock. They put Colin Falls in the game, a good 3-point shooter. Here's Thomas for 3.
These guys, they want a timeout. Yeah, Mike Bray out to ask for the timeout.
You know, I think you have to start thinking about at some point.
Fouling.
Well, not yet. There's still 2 minutes to go here.
Plenty of time, I think, don't you?
You got to think about a little bit of zone and stepping back a little bit and make them take a shot. I mean,
if you're Pitt.
No. I'm talking about Notre Dame. I don't think you want to extend as much right now. There's still 2 minutes to go. It's a 5-point game.
But I don't think I'd play zone because then they can use the clock as much as they want.
Tonight, Big Monday presented by Bud Light continues with 2 more games here on ESPN. Syracuse against Missouri, and then after Sports Center, Utah and UNLV at midnight Eastern time. Pittsburgh 4 out of 11 from the free throw line. How long do you wait down by a couple of scores till you start thinking about? I know ordinarily this would be too early, but are you more inclined to at least play more aggressive defense against the bad free throw shooter?
No, I think you can play aggressively, but I'm saying I want to make them. I would want to make them test it from the outside. I mean, they are getting to the rim too easily right now, trying to extend out. Probably too far. Now they're trying to make a comeback. They were down 9, but they've been able to cut it to 5 here, and it's just a 2-possession game. I think you may want to hang back just a little bit.
I think it's tough to change though what got you in it now, but now they do back it up a little bit more passive, Jay.
Krauser guarded by Quinn. Troutman is Cornette on him.
And they are going to the main guy down there, Brown.
And doing it quickly. They had 18 on the clock. Brown scores with ease inside. The lead back to 7.
Yeah, I'd want my big guys down low.
Thomas, another 3 with Brown looking on.
Tell you, some nylon by the little guy. We saw him struggle against Marquette early in the year. This is a different guy, a different leader, a different contributor.
What they're trading him 2 for 3. What we talked about before. Giving Brown the 2 inside, making him go a contested shot, and then here, the 3-pointer by Chris Thomas. Both Quinn and Thomas
Onion. Absolutely laying them on the dish. I'm wondering why they don't get up and under them, force them to the two-point line. Let them drive a little bit. They also got the great help inside.
Well, especially when you've got a lead, that three-point line for Pittsburgh is the enemy. You've got to keep them inside that line and make them play for two as well.
Notre Dame now out of timeouts. Pittsburgh has 2 left, a full timeout and a 30. 1:26 to go. Notre Dame moments ago down by 9, now trailing by only 4. And their last meeting, last February 9th, similarly exciting. Brandon Knight at a three-pointer with 30 seconds to go. That tied the game at 64. But the tie was broken by Tyrin Francis with less than a second to go. And Notre Dame won by 2. As you mentioned, they've won 5 of the last 6 between these two teams in regular season play. That's the timeout situation we noted a moment ago. None left for the Irish. Each team in the 1-1. The arrow favors Pittsburgh, as does the score. The Panthers trying to go to 17-0. Lead by 4. Brown struggling to get it in. Finds Krauser.
Nice trap. Nobody rotated. Oh, no. Fumble.
Quinn after Cornette hit the floor. And they're within 1.
Gracious.
Now he's going to try to foul.
He's backing up. He's going to play straight up.
Oh, it looked like he was trying to. It looked like Mike Bray was pointing at Troutman, like foul him.
Well aware of the free throw numbers we gave for Troutman earlier. Under 60% free throw shooter. Page is open for a three. It was deflected by Thomas, but a foul called by Reggie Greenwood.
And underneath, very alert. Pitt rebounding, but a tough play given 3. But we mentioned the inability to shoot free throws on a consistent basis, although 74% for Krauser.
And Bill, this happened 2 times to Notre Dame against Villanova, where they fouled three-point shooters, and also against Central Michigan, and really hurt them.
Page, that is 68%, Jay.
Better than their average. Woeful free throw shooting. The three-pointer has been the weapon that kept Notre Dame in tonight. They've made 11 threes, and one of the reasons why Mike Bray knew they'd be better after their disappointing start was that they had not shot the ball well from three-point range, and they have too many good three-point shooters to have that continue, and it's starting to come around from beyond the arc now.
Well, the nice thing now, you're right back in it. You can go for the quick 2. You don't have to force the long delivery.
Jamie Dixon has good hair, but he has less hair than he had when he became a head coach about 9 months ago.
Well, what happened to you?
I don't know. There's no excuse.
I thought it was coaching.
Bad genetics.
There's plenty of time. Oh,
look at Troutman again.
Great play.
Cornette will be charged with a foul. Troutman kept it alive. And the ball came back out to Page, who missed 2 of the 3. Made the first and missed the last 2.
That's the second time that Chevy Troutman has kept the ball alive. And Pittsburgh came away. Look how he pushes Francis underneath the basket, just roots him out, and creates that space to knock that ball back out. What a play.
Unbelievable strength and a good quick foul on Page.
And Notre Dame had worked so hard to get that opportunity.
Wow, 3 straight misses by Page. This is the double bonus now the rest of the way. 5 for 15 from the line are the Pittsburgh Panthers.
And Thomas has to squeeze Troutman and help down there. Looks like he's going to take the shooter.
Pittsburgh by 3. 48 seconds left.
I'm big on going for the 2. Like, get it in there and then just guard.
But be mindful as you get it in there that you can kick it back out.
Quinn, the handoff to Thomas. Tenacious defense from Pittsburgh.
This one's going up.
Thomas.
That's always the way. The 3 kills you because you settle instead of scoring quickly. You can then stretch the game out.
Well, Thomas here did not get the foul call because he was the one that created the contact. This is the principle of verticality. If you go straight up, which Brown did not, by the way, he was jumping toward Thomas. I think Thomas might have been entitled to this space.
But he went to the side, though.
Yeah, but he's jumping. He should have jumped right into him. If Brown had gone straight up, he's entitled to that space all the way to the ceiling. So that would have been a good call not to call any contact that was created by Thomas.
Yeah. Makes it a 4-point game, and now they're ahead by 2 scores. Jamie Dixon wants his players out of the lane.
See, this is interesting. I leave Troutman in. He doesn't foul, and he gets a piece of it. If it's a miss, it's a give-up. It isn't a miss. So it's the right play.
And pressure by Brown. They're trying to get Notre Dame to use some clock. What a pick by Timmermans. Brown down to the backcourt. Quinn for 3.
Oh, my goodness. What a kick by Thomas. They're going to give it right away.
And Brown had his bell rung. It might be a good idea for Jamie Dixon to get a timeout, and he does.
And he's questioning John Clougherty about the pick. As he called a timeout, he came out with his arms crossed in front of him as if to say, was that a legal screen?
Hey, Timmermans is allowed to protect himself here. Now, that's Pittsburgh's fault for not calling it out. He gave him plenty of room.
And nobody there to help.
Stood there.
Nothing wrong with what Timmermans did.
No, he's allowed to protect himself.
And this is as good as I've seen Chris Thomas. Believe you know, just to be being creative. We mentioned the one jumper to runner was a tough one trying to win. But here Timmermans unloads in a legal Wes Unseld style in the backcourt.
But how about Chris Quinn? I mean, he has been terrific in this second half.
His hands are ready. He's stepping into the shot, very alert. And the passes are coming in the right spot. Doesn't waste any time.
Notre Dame will face guard here, trying to see if they can get this inbound pass.
Brown takes it out. He's the worst free throw shooter. I think you give it, little steal, give it right away, Jake.
Well, he can run the baseline here.
They can foul Troutman, 57%. Fournette did foul them. And Troutman tried to throw the ball off him, not hearing the whistle. Syracuse and Missouri coming up next.
That's great coaching, by the way. They force Trout. Everybody else, Jay mentioned they face guard it. They force a guy who's got a terrible percentage to the free throw line. Real heady play.
57% for the year and 2 out of 3 from the line tonight. For Siobhan Troutman, junior from Williamsport, PA, one of 8 children. 3rd team All Big East as a bench player last year. A 3-point lead. Obviously, the next one would be huge.
Jamie wants his guys off the line again.
Colin Falls, an excellent 3-point shooter, comes back in. Jones goes out.
You know, at that number for Troutman, he's got a nice rotation and stroke. Jay mentioned the genuflection. Might be a prayer involved in this when you're at 57%.
No timeouts for Notre Dame. Down by 4 now.
Now that's an you go for 2 right away.
13 seconds to go. Thomas throw it away. Again tried to go in the air and draw a foul and could not. And a foul against Timmermans of Notre Dame.
The more you watch basketball, it's a 2-possession game, Jay, and you don't need the 3. He did get a little brush here, but a good non-call, and this is something that Brown does extraordinarily well. He steps in passing lanes. Timmermans couldn't do anything but give it up.
Pittsburgh has just been a little bit stronger coming down this stretch.
And now here's Brown, 2 out of 6 from the line tonight.
Well, Jerron Brown was the backbreaker in this game. His work inside was impossible for Notre Dame to stop.
And all of a sudden, the Panthers have made 5 straight free throws.
ND left it all out here, though. Just very impressed how they kept after it. But I think the rotation inside, the influence of all the big bodies, Troutman with slap backs, and Jay mentioned the post-up of Brown. Just too much.
Thomas all the way to the bucket for a dunk at the buzzer. That basket does count. And Pittsburgh now 17-0, improving on the longest current winning streak in the country and the longest home winning streak. 36 straight at home, 30-0 in this building. And they continue their best start since the 1927-28 season when their team went 21-0 for the year. Final score, Pittsburgh 74, Notre Dame 71. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com. Now here's Chris Fowler in our ESPN studio.
Okay, Sean, off to the Hearn Center next. Big Arthur Johnson and the Missouri Tigers hosting the Syracuse Orangemen, defending national champions, just minutes away from Game 2 of Big Money presented by Bud Light. But Digger Phelps wants to put a period on game number 1. Chris Thomas for the Irish, a career-high 29 points. He shoots Notre Dame back in the game in the last few minutes, but then makes a couple of critical, incorrect decisions as well.
Yeah, he forced it. When you look to draw the foul on the 3, the most important thing is penetrate, go to the basket. That's when Notre Dame was at their best. That's when Chris Quinn was at his best in the second half. Drive it, look to kick for the 3s. But Pitt just beat him up inside, Chris. I thought that was a difference in the second half. At one point, it was 40-18 points in the paint for Pitt, and that was a difference in this game for the Panthers.
36 straight home wins, 17-0 in the season. The winning coach is back at Pittsburgh with Jay. Jay?
Jamie, your play inside, especially by Jerron Brown, seemed to be the difference. When you got the ball into the paint, you were almost impossible to stop. Was that something that you were telling your guys, get it inside?
Yeah, well, those are a number of set plays that we run, and Jerron Brown's the guy you want taking shots at the end of games because he always makes the plays, and we got so many guys that make great efforts tonight, and I thought our crowd was unbelievable. They really pulled us through. Guys, I was worried about our legs after the Miami double overtime game, but our crowd pulled us through, and tremendous effort by all of them.
Coming down the stretch when Notre Dame is trying to trade 3 for 2, what's your strategy in guarding there?
Well, we just tried to get out. I thought they had tough shots, and you know, they're not going to hit shots like that every time, you hope, but they made tough shots. It's a very good team, and they made shots, and we did exactly what we wanted to do, and we're very happy with the result.
You know, this Pittsburgh team seems to have everything. The one Achilles heel, if you will, people want to talk about to pick you apart is free throw shooting. What is it you can do to improve that, if anything?
Well, at the end, like our guys always make it when we need them, and it seems to be that's the case. And just like they did, Jerron stepped up, Chevy Troutman stepped up and made it when they need them. They're winners, they're gamers, and I had a lot of confidence in when they both stepped to the line at the end. So they're winners.
Well, undefeated as a head coach, Jamie Dixon. We'll see you next week in Connecticut. Chris, back to you.
Jay, thank you. That's right. The Panthers do remain in the unbeaten club, already playing 17 games. That's a lot of games. And joined by St. Joseph, talked about their 9 wins away from home. Stanford, I know it's early. I know it's kind of preposterous to project any team going undefeated in the regular season, but the Pac-10 is not that strong. They have wins already at Arizona and Arizona State. They got a shot, Stanford.
February 7th. Arizona goes back to Stanford, and every year they beat them down in Tucson, and when they go back up to Stanford, bang, guess what? Arizona wins the game.
Well, let's talk about the Panthers looking ahead. Now, they got Rutgers at home this weekend, then the game Jay referred to a week from tonight, Big Monday, at Connecticut.
Well, this is going to be the big test on the road because when you look at Okafor and company, they are just devastating where you try to score in the paint. It won't be that easy as you saw them do tonight against the Irish. And I think when you look at Troutman and Taft against Okafor, he's so good at blocking shots, it's going to force Pittsburgh to shoot more of a perimeter game. But if they drive the ball and get that, I think, quick score inside by going through Okafor and company, then you look for easy transition points, but I don't know if they're going to have that strength. The way they played against Miami on the road, Chris, in double overtime to win that game.
Right.
I think here against UConn, this place will be a zoo, knowing that they're coming in undefeated, knowing that now in the Big East, there's only one division. So they're fighting for first place, and it's a showdown between, you know, hopefully the first 2 teams that are number 1, number 2, as they go into this weekend, get through it, and then see what happens next Monday to see who is the best in the Big East, because there's no East or West, just one division in the Big East.
Well, Pittsburgh showed some heart. That double overtime road game against Miami got back very late Saturday. You said they looked tired down the stretch against Notre Dame, but they fight through it tonight, and big things ahead. We talked about the group of unbeaten teams still fighting on in college basketball. You're going to see an unbelievable number of unbeatens on ESPN and ESPN2 in the coming week. Just a monster schedule. You got 12 of the top 15 in